Hello, everyone. We are back, and we are here with your favorite host, Tyler McGuigan. Tyler, welcome to the interview portion of the show.
Hello. I was not expecting to be interviewed this episode.
Well, you don't sound too enthusiastic about it.
I guess I don't open up that much on this show.
Well, this is a perfect time, place, and position to do so. So, Tyler, tell me, you've been doing this for 3 years now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, can you tell us how you landed this job as the beloved host of Studio A? I don't think a lot of us know, and I would love to know.
Well, you see, I like to have people think that like I really earned this position.
Right.
And because I was just that good and that funny. To be honest, it was just given to me. My friend, the awesome Zach Garon, who was the old Studio A producer before Chelsea came on. The old host left, and they wanted a new one, and they didn't even have auditions. He just came up to me, and because I was kind of like a goofball friend of his, and he was like,
"Classic goofball.
Would you like to be host of Studio A?" And I was like, "Hell yeah!"
Right. So that kind of segues into my next question: who was the host of Studio A before you?
Before me, it feels so long ago now because I've been doing this for 3 years. The host before me was my good friend John Osborne. He is actually, believe it or not, from my hometown in New Jersey, which I did not know until like a couple months into school.
Interesting.
Yeah, he said my hometown, Cedar Grove, and I was like, "Oh, you know Cedar Grove? I'm from Cedar Grove." But he was a senior when I was a freshman, and so we became friends. Hung out with him a lot, and he was the old host. Yeah.
Interestingly enough, although I'm not from Cedar Grove, I feel like I've mentioned this to you before. I went to as a child, a Pokemon League, which is where a bunch of nerdy children would gather and buy Pokemon cards and compete with each other. And that's where I learned how to play the Pokemon card or the Pokemon trading card game. I'm still quite good at it if you ever would like to play.
Yeah, that was Time Warp Comics.
Time Warp Comics.
I've been
Shout
there
out to Time Warp Comics in Cedar Grove, New Jersey.
On Pompton Avenue.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It was I've gone there a bunch of times.
It's a great place. So
never for Pokemon though.
Yeah, well,
Nerd.
It's okay.
I'm just kidding.
We'll work you up to that. So, since your time here, have you made any notable contributions to Studio A? Because this is your time to flex. So, if you have, maybe a show that you've pitched or ideas that have kind of contributed to making the show what it is, now's your time to just kind of let it all.
I really let this show to be an opportunity for general members to pitch their ideas. Sure. So I feel like a lot of the out of studio stuff wasn't necessarily my idea. Like we all talk about it in writer's room. Although I will say, you and I both, I feel like we both separately, we did not talk to each other about it, but we both separately came up with your idea for the food review. I remember thinking oh, Dani does food reviews on her Snapchat.
In fact,
and I was like, that'd be a great idea for a segment on Studio A. And I've had other ideas for segments, and we've never actually done them. But I have come up with some cold opens, and those are funny. Cool. If you guys remember the presidential debate one, I think that was one that I had in my mind. I was like, I want to do this. Also, the Batman one, where you recreate the Robert Pattinson test footage, because I've always wanted to be Batman. So.
Well, I think you're a great Batman.
Thank you.
Would you like to share your favorite Studio A memory? Was it being Batman?
Well, okay, I guess that kind of leads into that, yeah, because, that was a fun, I would say that moment was a particularly cool moment because I remember the footage actually came out really well, and then I did this kind of blur effect when I started walking in, and I walked into focus, and that was very reminiscent of the test footage that I was parodying. So that was really good, and I got it all red and tinted.
Ooh, okay.
So cool. I think one of our funniest cold opens was, one, the presidential debate one. I had a lot of fun editing that, but then also our Scooby-Doo one. I think
that was a great
That was a great cold open. Sam and I both were like talking in the car, figuring out the script for that one. And I will say, I think by far my favorite like episode as a whole that we've done is the most recent episode we did was the Christmas episode. I really loved that episode. I loved sitting in front of the green screen with the fire. I liked doing the carrot in the box game. I liked doing the monologue with you and doing the panel with Chelsea and Kate talking about Taylor Swift, which I knew like nothing about.
I love that. I love it. So a lot of your favorite moments were also for the good of the show. I think that's very sweet. I think that's very telling of who you are as a host. I think that's very precious. So obviously you have done a lot of comedy and stuff on the show. So do you have a certain type of like content or certain jokes you like to make, or I guess content to make jokes about? Some people talk from experience.
Yeah, I kind of do. I like. I get this wasn't really intentional, but I feel like a lot of the jokes that I've been making, specifically like my monologue, a lot of them have just been like rants about stuff that about like things that I'm unhappy about as a nerd, and I try to throw jokes in there. I like a lot of. I guess I'm more like I have a certain. I like edgy humor, so I get, but I try not to get too edgy on this show. We kind of make it accessible to everybody.
It's a liberal arts campus.
Yeah,
you can only do so much.
Like if you've seen my Soul review, that was probably as one of the edgiest I've gone, or as far as I've gone on the show. But yeah, that was fun. I mean, I try all different sorts of comedy. I liked I actually really like the episode where I tried like kind of like deadpan humor or like anti-jokes to kind of bring out like my inner, like to kind of represent like Norm Macdonald, because I really love Norm Macdonald.
That actually is a little bit of my next question, if you don't mind me jumping into that. So I know you're a film major, but you've also done a lot of performing and stuff. Do you have any inspirations, either filmmakers, comedians, anything of the sort that kind of inspired the stuff you do in and out of Studio A?
Well, I would say, so like I was saying, Norm Macdonald was definitely probably the biggest inspiration for the Lazy episode, where I did my monologue, where I like wrote down a bunch of jokes on a piece of paper that were like bad on purpose, like they were really like terrible jokes. That, and then Eric Andre has been a big influence on the show. We did a whole cold open that was based on that, where I killed Eli with a lightsaber and ran around like a crazy person. I don't know, like we do a lot of parodies and stuff, and we just kind of go off of what we're seeing in pop culture. Whatever's trending, we try to take that and try to make it funny. Kind of like SNL, but I feel like we're a little better than SNL. I don't know. We're a little more fun here.
Oh yeah, I could definitely see that. We don't, abuse interns. I'm not sure if that's the thing that SNL does. We also don't do cocaine.
Yeah, I mean, look, I already have Disney coming after me. I don't need NBC coming after me as well.
No, absolutely.
So,
I don't think.
I'll keep my comments to a minimum.
Yeah, I don't think we're in the right income bracket to do cocaine right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe one day. Mm-hmm. That's a joke. Well, anyway, Tyler, that's all the questions I have for you. You have been a wonderful interviewee, as you've been wonderful on this side. So thank you.
You've been a wonderful interviewer.
Do you want to embrace? Can we embrace?
Sure. I think this might be a first on Studio A. Come out here so everyone can see. The show is in good hands.
The show is in good hands. That's all I have for the interview portion.
Can I?